Hi guys, welcome to part one of Ayurveda. We are going to start off with a little meditation to center, and then we'll go into a little bit of chanting to get us ready to take in some knowledge of Ayurveda. So go ahead and get in a comfortable spot, a comfortable seat. This meditation is going to be like 5 minutes long, so you can stay seated for this, stacking your shoulders on top of your hips and drawing your shoulders in and down your back. Close your eyes. Let your palms face up towards the ceiling, or turn your palms down to face down on your legs, whichever feels more comfortable to you right now. And again, closing those eyes and just noticing your breath right now. Noticing the rhythm of your breath. Noticing where you feel the breath in your body. Feeling the expansion of the breath within your physical body. And as you exhale, let go, release, and relax a little bit more into this moment. And feel your shoulders relaxing. Feel the back of your neck relax, lengthen, letting that head sink right above the shoulders. Feeling the jaw and the face and the forehead fully relax and release and let go. Taking your attention to your ears and your inner ears. Noticing the sound of your breath. And now with your breath, breathe all the way down into your low belly, into your hips. Feeling that breath, that prana, that life force running down your legs and down through your feet. Inhale, pull that breath into your body, all the way down into the lower belly, hips, all the way down the legs and the feet. Exhale as you let go, relax into this moment. Feeling that breath, feeling life move in through your body, expanding throughout every part of your body. With your exhale, you're releasing and letting go, detoxifying. A few more deep breaths. Inhale all the way into the body. Exhale all the way out, completely letting go, all the way to the very, very end of the breath. A few more, deepest breath in you can take. One more deep breath in. Deep, relaxing, and calming exhale out. Gently opening the eyes. We'll now move into chanting. We're going to chant Asato Ma mantra. So this mantra is basically a prayer of asking to move from ignorance and illusion to have that discernment to move into truth, into soul space. So the direct translation is, O Lord, or Om, Keep me not in the phenomenal world of unreality, but make me go towards the reality or eternal self. Keep me not in the ignorant state of darkness, but make me go towards the light of spiritual knowledge. And then keep me not in the world of mortality, but make me go towards the world of immortality or self-realization. And then we chant Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Om Peace 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 at the end. And the way I will chant it, we're going to chant it 3 times. And I will chant the first part, pause for a moment so that you can just repeat after me with this video, and then chant the second part, third part, fourth part. And we'll do 3 rounds of it. So the ending, the last line is Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So when you know we're at Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, we're going to start over and go back to Om Asatoma Satgamaya, doing it again. So 3 rounds. So getting in a comfortable spot, bring your hands into heart center, letting your thumbs touch your chest, fingers point up towards the ceiling, and then slightly forward. Draw your shoulder blades in and down your back. Let your heart reach forward and up. Head stacking on top of your shoulders. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And chanting Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And last round, inhaling all the way up. Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Deep breath in through your nose, all the way into every part of your body. Exhale, release. Bringing your hands now to the space right in between your eyebrows, to your third eye. Inhale deeply, breathe into this third eye area. Head comes back to stack right on top of the shoulders. Heart reaches forward and up. Inhale a little bit more. Exhale, release and relax. Letting those palms come back down onto the legs or palms facing up. Take a few more deep breaths here with your eyes closed, noticing the effects of the breath and the effects of the chanting. As you're ready, you can slowly start to open your eyes. Take a moment to come back. Now, moving into Ayurveda. So, part one of Ayurveda is going to be talking a lot about the history of Ayurveda and then the principles, the main principles of Ayurveda. And then part two of Ayurveda will get deeper into talking about the elements, and we'll access the elements, feel those vibrations and frequencies of each element within our body and our mind, and start to link it into how we can use it within our yoga practice. And it'll be lots of fun. So if you don't already have it, go ahead and get your the Ayurveda handout that Elizabeth sent you, and you can kind of run through it as I talk about it, because I will be using this as a guide to stay on track. Because I am very Vata. If I don't have this, I will go off into very many different avenues of this, and it'll be confusing. So, and you will learn more about what Vata is. If you also haven't already taken the little quiz that was sent, Elizabeth sent you a link in the same email that had all of your handouts for this past weekend. And that link is to a little quiz that you can take. It's a fun little quiz just to kind of get a guess of what dosha or doshas you are predominantly. And again, we will get deeper into that as we go through this. So first, just kind of dissecting the word Ayurveda. It's Ayurveda. Ayur means life, and Veda means knowledge. So Ayur and Veda put together is the life, or the science and wisdom of life and longevity. So there are many Vedas within the Indian culture. There are many Vedas. Veda, again, is knowledge. So there are Vedas of architecture. There are Vedas of mathematics, just bodies of knowledge of these specific things. So Ayurveda, life, is the wisdom or knowledge of life or longevity. Ayurveda and yoga co-evolved alongside each other over 5,000 years ago in India. And just like yoga, Ayurveda was taught mainly sutra-wise, with like these threads of truth and understanding. And it was taught verbally from teacher to student to teacher for many years before it was actually written down. So they say that Ayurveda evolved over 5,000 years ago, but Ayurveda actually started probably earlier than that. So yeah, yoga is a philosophy system. And then again, Ayurveda is a body of knowledge that actually bases itself off of yoga's understanding of life and creation, and also bases its understanding of life and creation off of one of India's other 6 traditional philosophies, which is called Sankhya. So we will get a bit into Sankhya, just learning about what Sankhya says about life and creation to more fully and more completely understand the principles of Ayurveda. And but Ayurveda pulls from all 6 traditional philosophies, not just yoga and Sankhya, but these are the 2 we're going to kind of dive deeper into today. So, starting with the history of Ayurveda, so how Ayurveda came to be. There are many stories told about how Ayurveda came to be, but they're all very similar and they're all the same concept. So I have one written out for you that you can read about. But really the gist of it is that there were these rishis, they call them rishis, which are the seers. They saw that their fellow villagers were sick and diseased and had ailments, and they wanted to find a way to heal their fellow villagers. So they decided that they would send one seer. In the story that I wrote down for you, they sent Bharadvaja to go seek the wisdom from Lord Indra. And so basically what all these stories are saying is that the seer or the rishi sat down and meditated and accessed a lord or accessed spirit and asked for this wisdom to heal their people to be gifted to them. And so that is what happened. So in the story, Bharadvaja goes and seeks out Lord Indra. And what that means is he sat down in meditation and connected with him in that way. And the Lord Indra in this story says, yes, I will give you the tools to help heal your people. And that was the teachings of Ayurveda. It is said that the teachings did not come from Lord Indra, however, they came from the creator. And in Indian philosophy, they oftentimes called the creator Brahma. And so Brahma is just another word or another way to say it came from God, or it came from this oneness, came from the universe, however you want to call it, came from the oneness. So this knowledge was given to the rishi, the seer, Bharadvaja, or whatever you want to call him. And Bharadvaja then went back to tell his villagers all about it. And then from there, Ayurveda was passed on verbally for many years. And then eventually, the knowledge was taught to Atreya, which then, Atreya was one of the rishis or seers. And Atreya taught it to Agni-Vesa. And Agni-Vesa was the one who eventually wrote the Agni-Vesa Tantra. And that was the first written text on Ayurveda. And then Kraka, which was the greatest Ayurvedic physician, then revised it. And that Agni-Vesa Tantra turned into the Kraka Samhita, which is the largest text on Ayurveda. It's like 7 volumes. It's like 7 full, pretty thick books. So if you get into Ayurveda after this, Kraka Samhita's got all of it, but it is pretty deep. I would start out with something a little more bite-sized, which actually I will get into. There are many great books on Ayurveda. I do quote the principles of Ayurvedic medicine in this text, and that is actually the first textbook I got with the school I studied Ayurveda in, the California College of Ayurveda. You can actually buy this textbook on Amazon, I believe, so I'll show it to you. Principles of Ayurvedic Medicine. It's this is written really well, really clear, so if you ever felt like reading a bit about it, this book is good. Also, Kristen Schneider has her book, Your Life is Medicine. That's at Full Circle. If you guys want to go grab it, definitely highly recommend that. And then there's Sahara Rose. She has a book, Ayurveda for Dummies or for Idiots. The Idiot's Guide to Ayurveda, I think. And that one is very clear and very good to start out with as well. And there are a few others, so if you ever have any questions about that or want some guidance, just message me. I'm happy to talk to you about it. Back into Ayurveda. So what I really liked about the stories that told how Ayurveda came to be was that it was accessed by a rishi or a seer sitting in meditation and accessing the knowledge through himself or herself. And so in this text I have written and bold, I'd like to emphasize here that all the wisdom of life and ourselves is within each of us. And this is a big something Ayurveda teaches, is that the wisdom and knowledge of everything we ever need is always within us. So Ayurveda is always teaching us to tune in, get to know ourselves better, understand what our body's trying to tell us, sit in meditation, use the tools of yoga always. Yoga and Ayurveda are sister sciences. Together, they work hand in hand and they complete a complete science together. They're the two pieces of the puzzle. They complete each other. So yes, always tuning back into yourself, learning to trust your inner wisdom, learning to trust your inner guidance. You're always your best teacher. You're always your best guide. You over everyone is going to know what's best for you to eat at a specific time. So when you go to an Ayurvedic practitioner, you're not just going to be told like, oh, eat this and eat that because this is your dosha and this is what's happening. You will be given some guidance like that, but most of it is really just bringing you back to yourself, teaching you the principles of Ayurveda so that you can start to understand yourself better and really accessing that inner wisdom within so that you can start to, from day to day, realize and understand and notice what you really need in that moment. And that is one of the biggest beauties of Ayurveda and why I love it so much. It's very empowering in teaching you to be your own best healer. And yes, it's amazing. That is what's missing a lot within our Western culture or our Western healthcare system. It's listen to the doctor, they know what's best. Even like in society as we're growing up, like listen to the teacher. You even have to just listen to the government. And we're kind of shifting into a time where, and especially as we get into yoga, of course, we shift into let's stop listening to these outer things and start to tune within and listen to what's within me. And that's when a lot of healing can happen. That's when a lot of understanding and forgiveness and love can happen. So tune into you. So benefits of studying and understanding Ayurveda. Ayurveda supplies us with the wisdom and knowledge of who we are. Like I just said, it's really just Ayurveda is about understanding ourselves a lot better and how our environments affects our inner environment. So Ayurveda also gives us tools to create the lives that we desire. It allows us to really live vitally and in more of this space of knowledge instead of confusion. Because I know the one reason why I was so attracted to Ayurveda was because I was so lost. There are so many diets and fads around. I was like, some are saying like high fat, yeah, and some are saying like, no, fat's bad for you. Some are saying high carb, and some are saying no carbs. Some are saying vegetarian. Some are saying like paleo and all the meat and stuff. They're like all contradictory, and I was like, I don't know what the heck to do. I don't know how to be healthy or what to do to be healthy. And Ayurveda really teaches you who you are and gives you the tools to create the life you desire and come back to yourself and what you truly need, because we all need different diets at different times. So Ayurveda's main goal is to bring the physical body into harmony and balance so the soul inside the physical body can grow and experience, develop, and move into enlightenment or back into oneness. So again, Ayurveda and yoga go hand in hand. Yoga is a philosophy system that focuses a lot on enlightenment and samadhi. So yoga is focused mainly on enlightenment and spiritual development, Well, Ayurveda's focus is a lot more on the physical body and the mind and getting those back into alignment and healthy and stable so that the soul inside of us can move into enlightenment. Ayurveda does focus more on the physical body, while yoga focuses more on the soul body and the breath body. But they both, again, yoga and Ayurveda, they link and they create a complete science. So, Ayurveda and yoga both help us realize our gifts, give our gifts freely, receive freely, and live and perform our higher work or dharma. Ayurveda is about personal responsibility and honoring our own individuality while simultaneously remembering our oneness and our divinity. And we'll get even deeper into that later. Ayurveda and yoga are about gaining knowledge and wisdom to make conscious choices in wisdom with that discernment. Make the conscious choice in wisdom to find peace, harmony, and joy within our physical existence. So, Ayurveda bases its understanding of creation and life off of a mixture of India's 6 traditional philosophies. 2 of them are yoga and Sankhya. The others are Nyaya, Vaishika, Mimamsa, and Vedanta. So there are 6 traditional Indian philosophies, and we're going to talk mainly about Sankhya, and you're going to talk a lot about yoga within your training. So, to be able to understand Ayurvedic principles more completely, we will review Sankhya's view of creation. So, you may draw parallels between Sankhya's view of creation and that of yoga's, of course. They're very, very closely linked and co-evolved alongside each other. You may also draw, or you already have drawn, parallels between yoga's philosophies and that of different religions, because there are divine truths threaded within everything, within everyone. We are at times often speaking many divine truths and we don't even realize it. So again, let's open our minds and move into this next bit of learning to see how we can maybe shift the perspective or see something differently. And we're going to have fun. We all come from one. In Sankhya philosophy, they call this oneness Purusha and Prakriti. So in a lot of the Indian philosophies, the traditional Indian philosophies, they call this oneness Brahma. So in Sankhya philosophy, they actually split Brahma into 2. They split Brahma into the feminine and into the masculine. The masculine aspect is Purusha, and then the feminine aspect is Prakriti. I just noticed a typo. Purusha and Prakriti is actually Prakriti, so it's with an I instead of a U there. It's not a big deal, but it kind of gets confusing because they use this word with something else later on, but it's Prakriti. If you really want to make it like correct, then just put an I there. I instead of you. Okay, so you can also call Purusha and Prakriti together. You can call them Brahma. You can call them God. You can call them this oneness, universe, Insaf. Whatever you want to call it. So in the beginning, there was nothing but pure potential consciousness. This is Purusha. This is the divine masculine. And pure potential for matter, Prakriti, the divine feminine. So feminine and masculine, we're not talking about male and female here. We actually have we have masculine and feminine within each of us. Each of us have both masculine and feminine. We have to be able to make a full human. So, we all have masculine and feminine in us. It's that duality. If you've seen the catechist, that's like a masculine side and the feminine side, and then interweave and come up together to the crown. So, Purusha and Prakriti represent the origins of all existence. This is kind of like Adam and Eve. Pure potential consciousness, Purusha, desire to know thyself. Purusha then inserted part of itself into pure potential for matter, Prakriti. What I really like about this illustration of it is they actually show like Purusha decided to insert a piece of itself into Prakriti. Prakriti is matter. So Purusha is the masculine aspect, Prakriti feminine. Purusha, sperm, masculine, inserted itself into Prakriti, the feminine. That's like the creation of a human. The sperm enters the woman creates a baby and a life. So Prakriti, Purusha inserts itself into Prakriti and then boom, creates the physical world. And that boom was actually Om. So this was the first unfolding of differentiation. So the merging of Purusha and Prakriti was not a small venture. This was Om. So the Om, why we chant Om is because it's the sound of creation. And Om is the sound of creation itself. All of creation is understood to vibrate in harmony with Om. And Om is understood to vibrate within all of creation. We are healthy when we are in harmony. This is what Ayurveda teaches all the time. We're always trying to go into, make the harmonious choice, find the harmonious solution to come into balance. We want to go back into resonance with Om. And I have my tuning fork right here, so we're gonna do it. This is the Om tuning fork. Oh, I feel it vibrating. So that is Om. So we are said to be healthy when we are vibrating with that resonance with Om. And disease could be understood as vibrating out of harmony with Om. And this is the big reason why we chant Om, is to increase that vibration, increase that frequency within us, to bring us back in alignment to that oneness, back in alignment to Om, where we come from, our root, our truth. And then from there, that awareness increases, that discernment increases, and we start to make different choices. We start to feel differently, and we start to move differently. So Om, that is why we chant Om in yoga. I didn't know that for a really long time. And once I learned that, I was like, and I started chanting Om all the time. So Om is great. Tuning forks, really great. This is a weighted tuning fork. You can literally do that. You can listen to it and just breathe, like hold it next to your ear. You can also put it on your body. It feels so good. You can put it on your third eye. You can put it on the bottoms of your feet, your hands. I use these with the Marma points, which is a therapy of Ayurveda, which is like acupressure. You can put them on specific points. If you know acupressure or puncture, put them on those points. Or just put them on the palm of your hand, on the bottom of your foot, on your chest, connecting to your heart, your circulation. Anywhere that's like tight, feel like it's tight and constricted and sore, you can put it there as well. But moving on. So, thus the chanting of Om realigns one's internal vibration with that of the universe. The first creation of Purusha and Prakriti was the cosmic laws that would govern creation. So these laws are the gross, dense laws, as well as the more subtle laws. So the laws of nature, along with the laws of karma, are all within these laws, and Sankhya called this Mahat. With all the laws to govern creation established, it was time to create physical matter. For this to occur, there needed to be a sense of separateness. This needed to be separate from that. Without separation, there could be no individual experience, and it is through individual experience that Purusha comes to know itself, that God comes to know itself. This sense of self is called ahimkara in Sankhya philosophy. Loosely translated on human terms, this is the ego. However, when we generally talk about the ego, we're just talking about humans. But ahimkara also links to and pertains to things like vegetables and herbs. Anything that is in the physical world has ahimkara because it's a sense of separateness, and it has its own energetic structure and physical nature. So what I mean by this is that we are separate. We come from one, but each of us are showing up separate within the physical world. And we each have our own energetic structure. We each have our own individuality. So if you know herbalism at all, herbalists, they'll assess what's going on with you energetically. And then they'll take certain herbs that have an energetic structure that have an opposite effect that help to balance your current energetic state. That's what the herbs are doing. And each person is different. So when you go to an herbalist, some herbs the herbalist will not say will work very well for you, just picking up on who you are. And some will do better, while this herb that didn't work well for you might work well for someone else. Everything has an energetic individual makeup. So something Ayurveda teaches this very strongly. Individuality. What is medicine for one might be poison for another. And what is poison for one might be medicine for another. Even at specific times, what might be medicine for you now might be poison for you just in like a week or so. Because everything is always shifting and changing. And what we need always shifts and changes. So again, Ayurveda is getting to know ourselves better, getting to know our environment better. But everything has an individuality. Everything has an ahimkara. And we'll go deeper into that with like talking about the elements and what foods link to which elements. So, moving on. So, according to Sankhya philosophy, without a sense of self, nothing could exist as separate. With a sense of self or separateness in place, individual creation could come into existence. However, building blocks needed to build the physical structure. The first building block is actually the potential for building block. These potentials are called tan mantras, which tan mantra means essence or potential. So it's basically the potential for the building blocks, the potential for the elements. So this comes in the form of basically our senses, or they're actually the essence before our physical senses. So ether or space, backing up, 5 elements. They are ether, air, fire, water, earth. So the tan mantra for ether or for space, ether or space connects to our hearing. So ether or space, the tan mantra is sound. So again, going back to Om and chanting the frequency and vibration, everything in the physical world is actually vibrating. So anything that looks still actually has a vibration to it. Everything is vibrating. So if something is vibrating, it has a sound. So the first form of existence is actually sound. And that's another big reason why in yoga there's so much chanting. Because we're creating sound, we're creating this vibration. By chanting these different chants, we are accessing different rhythms, and we're accessing different energies that help bring alignment and bring balance. So in Ayurveda, we also use chants of the chakras or different chants to help balance the body through chanting. So first manifestation is sound, hearing, ether, space. And then we have air. Air is connected to our skin and it's connected to touch. And then we have fire, which is connected to our eyes and connected to sight. And then we have water, which is connected to our mouth and connected to taste. So So the Tan mantra is taste. And then we have earth, which is connected to our nose and connected to smell. So the Tan mantra for earth, which earth actually, each element connects to different fingers. So this is, I went according to the actual fingers. So the Tan mantra for earth is smell, and it's connected to the sense of smelling in the nose. Okay, so the actual building blocks that make up all of creation are the 5 elements. Together, they are referred to as the Pancha Mahabhutas. Pancha, 5, Maha, great, Bhutus, elements. Pancha Mahabhutas. The 5 great elements. Again, ether, air, fire, water, earth. And if you look at the hands, and how what we do with like our hand gestures, we actually, like, the fire finger is what we use to flick people off. And then the water finger is where we put the engagement ring. And we also put it on the left hand, which is the feminine side, which is the more emotional side. It's feminine is also connected to water and connected to lunar. We put it on the left hand, we put it on the water finger. Water element connects to bonding and to relationships, and to flow and to creativity and sensuality. Isn't it interesting? We put the engagement wedding ring on the water finger. We flick people off with the fire finger. Thumbs up, good job. This is ether, space, which is also where spirit is. Air is like soul body. Ether is that spirit body, or spirit doesn't really have a body. It's just all oneness. So when we say good job, it's like you're connecting to this truth. You're connecting to this oneness. That's an up. And then we turn it down for connecting to earth. So interesting. And I drew with the earth. I kind of remembered that this was earth. Because the pinky is earth and it's the physical world, and it's actually just so small compared to everything else that's actually there. There's so much going on around us subtly that we don't always pick up on, but it's always there, and it's always there for us. Going back to the sound, actually, dolphins and dogs, they hear a much higher pitch than we do. Just because we can't hear it doesn't mean it's not there. It's 100% there. We're just not picking up on it. And Ayurveda and yoga both really, really help us, again, tune into ourselves, calm our nervous system, which help us to pick up on what we're receiving. Because we're actually receiving a lot more and taking in a lot more than we are generally consciously aware of. Within like psychology and the brain study, they actually say that the conscious mind only picks up 4 to 5, I think it's like 2 to 5% of what we're taking in through our 5 senses. So the subconscious and the unconscious take in way more than our conscious mind does. So I always thought that was a cool awareness. Like, we're really only conscious of just a very small sliver of what's actually going on. So having a little humility and taking responsibility for the fact, like, I might not actually know what the heck's going on here. So I'm going to breathe and I'm going to trust and know that everything's going to be okay, because it is always going to be okay. If we remember our truth, our divinity, our oneness, everything's going to be fine. So as we get into the doshas, I'm going to tell you now, just because it's funny, I am Vata. I'm a Vata Pitta. But as I go through this stuff, I get really into the spirituality, and I also go like off here and off there and off there and off here. Again, that's why I kind of created a little structure for myself to go off of. But that I am a classic Vata with the way I talk and how I teach. So I'm glad I wrote this out for you, so it's a little more structured. That's helpful. But yeah, a Vata is teaching you. Okay, so moving on. We've got the Tan mantras, the precursors to the 5 great elements. And then now with a sense of self or separateness and building blocks to build physical matter, the next aspect of creation as far as human beings are concerned was the potential for sensory and motor experience. Through our senses, we would come to know the world. Through our motor organs, we would come to take action. The sense organs relate to ether, or the ears for hearing. So again, everything connects. So we've got, for ether, we've got sound as the Tan mantra. We've got the ears as the sense organ. And then with air, we have, again, the skin and touch. The Tan mantra is touch. And then the organ is, the sense organ is the skin. So if you think of the five senses, then we've got taste. The mouth is the sense organ. Taste is the sense, or the Tan mantra. You got it. It's all in here. Along with the capability to experience the world around us and act within the world around us, we need a mind to process what we experience. This is called manas. So the manas is related to the manomaya kosha. It looks like you guys, if you guys are watching this video soon, you have not yet learned about the 5 bodies, but you will eventually, within your training, learn about the 5 bodies. So a lot of times when we talk about our body, we're generally talking about the physical body, but within yoga, we learn that the physical existence in our physical body isn't all that's there. There's so much else that's there. We actually have 5 bodies. So we have the physical body, which is called the Annamaya kosha, and then we have the breath body, connected to the water element, or physical body is connected to earth. Water body and or breath body or emotional body is called the pranamaya kosha, prana breath, or life force. And then we have the lower mind kosha, which is called the manomaya kosha, which is what we are talking about now. And then we have the higher mind, the mind that's connected more to our soul, to our causal body. That's called the Vijnanamaya kosha. Vijnana means intellect. Vijnanamaya kosha, intellect body. And then we have the Anandamaya kosha, the bliss body. Ananda means bliss, so it's the Anandamaya kosha, bliss body. That's our causal body. That's where it said our soul. It's our soul body. And then past that is called Sat and Chit, and it is spirit, the oneness. Lots of words to say the same thing. So yes, manos, the manas, the mind is a limited mind that's connected to the manomaya kosha. It's the mind that's connected to the 5 physical senses in the physical world. And then we have that Vijnanamaya kosha that has connection to our soul, the higher mind. So in yoga, that's when we talk about calming the monkey mind, the calming of the fluctuations of the mind stuff, the calming of what that sutra is saying is that basically we're calming the manomaya kosha. We're calming that lower mind, that monkey mind that's connected to the physical senses, that's stuck in our stories, that's stuck in the physical reality. We're calming that down, letting it go like this, so we then see it from a different perspective, connect to that soul space, see things differently, and we hear the whispers of the soul instead of the screaming, not really the screaming, but the louder, sometimes screaming, but the louder manas, which is connected to the physical senses. So calming manas to connect to Vijnanamaya kosha, or connect to the soul. So is limited mind projected by ahimkara, or that individuality within us, that separateness within us. And then soul is connected to the oneness within us. Manas allows us to process the experience of separateness. We process an experience with our 5 senses is limited as it does not provide us with an awareness greater than the physical world. This is where our higher mind, Vijnana Maya Kosha, intellect body, the part of our mind connected more intimately to our soul, comes into play. This is where yoga and meditation come in great help. Yoga and meditation help us connect to the intellect body, or Vijnana Maya Kosha, and soul body, bliss body, Ananda Maya Kosha. Yoga and meditation help us listen to the whispers of the soul by quieting the monkey mind, or manas. So, Sankhya philosophy became the foundation for both Ayurveda and yoga. However, these disciplines also draw knowledge from the other classical systems of Indian philosophy. In addition to influencing Ayurveda and yoga, aspects of Sankhya are found in most latter systems of Indian spirituality. Yay! Okay, so who are we? Who does Ayurveda say we are? Ayurveda says at our essence we are divine. Each and every creation is a manifestation of the divine, of Om, of that primal seed of sound. Though we all have different packaging, at the core we are the same. We are separate and we are one, all at the same time. Always. We are spirit, universe, soul, body. We are separate and one all at the same time. I just repeated myself because I read off the paper. I said it and then read it. Okay, so I'm going to skip what is health real quick, go down to primordial cause of disease through the eyes of Ayurveda, since we're kind of on that subject. The primordial cause of disease, Ayurveda says, is actually forgetting our true nature as spirit, forgetting our true nature as divine. So if we knew ourselves as divine, as spirit, then we would never have any issues. If we knew we're God and we knew we were one, like, we wouldn't have any issues. We'd be fine. We wouldn't be stressed at all. There would be like no cortisol pumping through our adrenals and causing inflammation and all that fun stuff and keeping us awake at night and giving us rashes or giving us digestive issues. Like, there's none of that. Stress is actually one of the leading causes of diseases these days. And stress comes from identifying as separate and identifying as not one, as not spirit. So this is why Ayurveda says the primordial cause of disease is just forgetting who we truly are. Which sets the stage for indulging in our five senses, indulging in foods, indulging in activities that don't bring balance to us. Like, I'm having a hard time thinking of an example. Like, indulging in activities that don't bring balance. So for me, I indulged in competitive workout activities. I was a competitive dancer. Indulging or engaging in with so much of this competitive nature actually brought imbalances within my system. I wanted to give an example that wasn't like indulging in cake or indulging in whatever, because I mean, that is one way you can do it, but it's also in like the activities you do daily. Indulging in staying up late and waking up late. The time you go to sleep and the time you wake up energetically actually affects us. We are mini replicas of nature, and so we'll go into that later though. So yeah, forgetting our true nature as spirit. The primordial cause, understanding what health is, disease can be understood as its opposite. Disease is anything less than perfect health. Disease is not only grossly physical, but may be subtle and spiritual as well. So what is health? Now going back up to that. In Sanskrit, the word for health is svastha, which links to the swastika that Hitler used as his symbol. So Hitler used that as his symbol because he wanted to create perfect health. His idea of doing that was a little off, but that is why he used that symbol, is because that symbol represents perfect health. So the Sanskrit word And you actually find that symbol in like many cultures if you study that. They look like, slightly different, but they're the same symbol. So if you're interested in looking that up, definitely do. It's very cool. Same symbol with its own little, twist in culture within the symbol in the swastika. Perfect health. So what does svasta mean? Svasta means established in the self. So what is the self? In many spiritual philosophies, there are two selves. There's the lower self and there's the higher self. So there's the self connected to the 5 physical senses, connected to the physical world. The lower self, ego, ahamkara, the self that identifies as separate. And then there's the higher self, which is the, you can call it, actually, a lot of people call it the higher self these days, or the soul. Connected to spirit. That is, you can actually, if you're reading it, it's generally written as lowercase s self and uppercase s self, for lower self, higher self. So in Ayurveda, what we identify or define perfect health as is actually being established in both the lower self and the higher self. So being established in within your self-esteem, within your individuality, taking fully honoring your individuality and your separateness and your lower self, having great self-esteem and great confidence is a big factor in health. Along with fully being established and fully being connected to your higher self and to your soul, is also a huge factor in health. Because if we're connected to that soul, we have a higher awareness, we have a higher understanding. We understand that everything's going to be okay. Perfect health within Ayurveda is being fully established in both selves. So it's not just an absence of disease, it's not just an absence of symptoms, but it's having a great self-esteem and being fully established in something higher than yourself, higher than your individual self. So svasta equates perfect health with being established in both selves, lower self and higher self. Sankhya philosophy, upon which much of Ayurveda is predicated, teaches that the ego or sense of individual self is responsible for producing the actual physical body. So in order to have a healthy physical body, we must have a healthy connection to our individuality. And that actually connects to both our root chakra and our lower sacral chakra. Well, actually, our 3 lower ones also connects to the solar plexus. Self-esteem lies in the solar plexus. Root is more like belonging in the physical world. Sacral is kind of like understanding yourself and your emotions, being connected to your emotions, understanding yourself as individual. And then fire, solar plexus, self-esteem, self-worth, self-judgment. From this center, we go and give the gifts we have to share, which are connected to our individual imprints or blueprints. And then, being connected to your higher self. This is when we can gain a higher awareness and a person draws the necessary power to gain mastery over sensory indulgence. Also where we connect to our dharma or our higher purpose. Again, those individual gifts that we have to share. So, Ayurveda is a lifestyle, yoga is a lifestyle. Both offer us tools to come into alignment, stay in alignment through the changing seasons of life and grow. So yoga and Ayurveda being a lifestyle mean it's not kind of like a when you do it once and you're good. We're constantly using these tools of Ayurveda and yoga to find balance within ourselves and in our environment. And it's something that's always going to shift and change as well. Our yoga practice is going to shift. The types of yoga that we are doing is going to shift. What we're eating and what we're spending time doing is going to shift. So these are things we use every day. Ayurveda views everyone and everything through the lens of the 5 elements: ether, air, fire, water, and earth. Everything is energy. Einstein showed this with his equation or energy equals mc squared, but he actually just kind of scientifically gave an equation to something that we knew for a very, very, very long time. Everything is energy. Energy and matter are two sides of the same coin. Everything, even if it seems solid and still, has a vibration and has a frequency, also has a sound, whether we can hear it or not. What we think, feel, listen to, engage in, participate in, will manifest physically throughout our body and in our physical world. What we eat and what we surround ourselves with affects our mind, emotions, physical body, and health. Our inner environment creates our outer environment, and our outer environment affects our inner environment. So a lot of times, have you ever moved or actually, so if you move or have a breakup where your whole routine shifts, where you are shifts, and you end up finding you have these different habits. You don't have the same routine where you wake up and do the same thing. Everything is just so shifted that you're in a different state. So then you can easily start to do something different than what you've been doing before. So our inner environment actually creates everything within our outer environment. Who comes into our life, the relationships we have, everything. The job we have, where we live, everything around us. Our inner environment creates our outer environment, and then our outer environment affects our inner environment. So in Ayurveda, we actually do use the outer environment, and we start to kind of physically shift it, so it's easier to physically shift the inner environment. I'm not going to go too deep into that now, but there's the concept. Okay, so through differentiating this energy into the 5 elements instead of just oneness, again, individuality, through identifying the 5 elements, we are able to understand ourselves and this energy around us and within us on a more intimate and specific level. We understand ourselves better because, yes, we are all connected in one, but we are also all in this individual human body that is very individual. And we can use the 5 elements to understand our unique selves. And by understanding our unique selves, we are able to make wiser choices to balance and nourish and love our unique selves. What I need is going to be they're very different than what you need. And what you need is going to be very different than what even your brother, your sister, or your mom, or your dad are going to need. So, yes. Where are we going next? Okay. Sorry, I have this not in the right order. The 3 doshas. So the physiology of the human being is governed by 3 main forces. Although dosha literally means faulty or to cause harm, they only do so when they are functioning abnormally. So I said this earlier, you've probably heard this. If you took the quiz, you get kind of an idea of what dosha you are. So I am Vata Pitta. So that means that that actually means that I'm more likely to go out of balance in Vata and Pitta. And Vata and Pitta, if they go out of balance, then they can cause harm. So that's why dosha means faulty. When functioning normally, they maintain the good health of the body and guide all normal bodily functions and processes, and also govern the journey of life and the journey of everything. The journey of the seasons, the journey of the year, the cycle. Really, it's more of the cycle. Cycle is a better word than journey. The cycle of life, the cycle of the seasons, the cycle of a day, the cycle of a yoga class. They are the 3 main forces. So what does that mean? First of all, okay, the 3 doshas are subtle forces that exist within the body. They cannot be measured in any real sense, but they can be observed and monitored, and they can be very, very understood. The three doshas are Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Vata connects to the elements of air and ether. Pitta connects to the elements of fire and water. Kapha connects to the elements of earth and water. So the three doshas mirror the three basic functions of all existence: birth, preservation, and death. So all of existence must come into creation. This creation, this rebirth, this renewal, this is kapha, this is earth and water. We start at the densest element and move our way back up into air and ether, where there's death and where there's the end of a cycle. Once created, all of existence lives, grows, experiences. This is pitta. Pitta is connected to preservation, transformation, growth, and perseverance. Pitta is the fire element and is behind all transformation, all digestion. And then eventually everything dies. This is winter. The leaves on the trees fall. The trees are bare, and then we go back into springtime, which is kapha time, where there's rebirth, there's renewal, there are flowers growing, the leaves on the trees start to grow again. This is the renewal, the rebirth time, and then we go through that whole cycle again, where it goes into that fiery time, which is pitta, which is perseverance and transformation, which is summer, it's hotter, fire. And then we move back into fall and winter, where it gets cold and either dry or wet, depending on your climate. So it can be more kapha or vata. But then it's really the cycle of vata, where there's death and decay. And then we move back into end of winter, beginning of spring, we're at kapha. Pitta maintains by regulating metabolism, and vata destroys through wear and tear of action and activity. Respectively, in the flow of a general asana class, we start at kapha. We start at the beginning, kapha, where we ground, we connect to earth. We ground into this present moment, and then we can begin to move. So earth is still. And the more earth we connect to, the more stillness we can find within our body and within our mind. And then from there, we can begin to move from a more intentional space. So we connect to that earth and we connect to that water, the denser and the heavier of the elements, to then move into fire, which is the body of the practice, especially the peak of the yoga practice, where we sweat and we persevere and we move through each flow and we move through the challenging parts of the practice. That is pitta. That is, it also connects to our life. So we start out life in kapha time, where we got all this little baby fat and we're nice and chubby and cute, and we're taking the time as we first get into this physical world, we connect to our physical body and our physical surroundings. And then once we hit puberty, our metabolism increases, this fire within us increases. We start to transform, we start to grow into an adult. Well, we move into that mode. That is the fire. That's where we start to go through. We're in pitta time, from puberty to menopause, or puberty to retirement. So that entire time is pitta time, and fire gives us the determination and the ambition and the passion and the drive to go forth within the world from that solar plexus. Solar plexus is connected to fire. It allows us to give our gifts. Fire is also connected to the feet and to the eyes. It allows us to have focused gaze, to use our feet to move forward and give our gifts out to the world. So fire increases during this time of our life so that we're able to learn, digest all this information that we're taking in, and then give our personal gifts out to the world. All right there in the solar plexus and with fire and with pitta. So that is the the middle part of a yoga class, especially the peak. And then we move into, within a yoga class, then we move into Vata time, where we start to slow down. We go into the death pose, Shavasana. We go into corpse pose, and we take time to integrate the entire practice that we had. And so Vata within the stages of our life is after menopause and after retirement. So this is this time when we are accessing this wisdom. So air and ether increase within our mind and our bodies. And if you remember when we talked about the koshas, so the physical body is earth, the breath body is water, the lower mind is air, the lower mind is fire, the higher mind is air, and then higher mind is connected to our soul, and then the causal body is ether. The elements associated is ether. So as we connect more to air and ether, we're connecting more to our Vijnanamaya kosha, our intellect, our body, our higher mind, and we're connecting to our soul more. So we get this wisdom, and we're able to share this wisdom with the younger crowd, those that are in their pitta stage of life or in their kapha stage of life. We're able to share the wisdom that we have experienced throughout our kapha and pitta stages of life. And then as air and as ether increase, it increases so much to the point where this air and this ether, we connect so much to it to where we actually leave the earth and the physical body, and we're just all air and ether. So, creation kapha, preservation pitta, and destruction vata define the roles of the doshas, but not the psycho-spiritual nature of a person. Each of us are composed of the 5 elements. Each of us are composed of the 3 doshas. What makes all of us so unique and so different is not only the individual soul that is running through this system, but also the unique combination of the 5 elements and the 3 doshas within us at our time of birth. Our individual soul runs through and operates through this unique combination of the 5 elements and the 3 basic energies, or doshas. Most common are dual doshic, like me, Vata Pitta. There are also, second common is monodoshic, where you're just mainly one. That would say, like, if I were just like a whole bunch Vata, and I was really low in both Pitta and Kapha, then I would be monodoshic. And then the least common is tridoshic, where you're actually balanced in all 3. Tridoshic individuals tend to be pretty healthy because it's hard to go out of whack in the doshas if you have all of them kind of balancing each other all the time. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, so this is as far as we got for part 1. For part 2, we are going to get deeper and deeper into the elements. I'm going to kind of go over them a little bit now since I can. And yeah. So the elements, knowing the inherent qualities within the elements helps us to understand the nature of everything and everyone. By understanding everything and everyone more clearly, we are able to make wise choices to bring about balance and harmony. So again, it comes back to understanding ourselves more completely and more fully. So the 10 pairs of opposite qualities helps us to understand the elements and helps us to understand ourselves and everyone else around us better. Focusing on the qualities first, like when you're trying to figure out what element is within this, or what element is this object predominantly, or is this food predominantly, or is this type of exercise predominantly. Going back to the qualities is going to help you figure out which element it is. So go back to the basics. So 10 pairs of opposite qualities. You've got hot and cold. Light, heavy, dry, moist, mobile, stable, subtle, gross, quick, slow, flowing, static, and dense, smooth, rough, cloudy, clear, dull, sharp. So, earth is the densest of the elements. So the frequency and vibration of earth is slower and it's a lower, deeper tone. So if you listen to earth again, this is and difference between this and the next one I'm gonna play is gonna be more of an air sound. Yay, it's fun. I love tuning forks. If you're into sound, these are the best. If you're not into sound, these are also the best. So, okay, so earth, it's the densest of the elements. Again, connects to our physical body, connects to the root chakra. The qualities associated with earth are cold, dry, heavy, gross, dense, static, hard, solid, rough, and cloudy. It connects to stability. Earth represents the solid form of matter and the principle of stability. In the body, earth represents our physical structure. In the mind, it represents mental stability. Earth is related to the root chakra, Muladhara chakra, and physical body, Annamaya kosha. So we know we have earth in us because we have a physical body. That one's simple. The bones also have a lot of earth in them, like our actual structure has a lot of earth, and the root